All right, so we are done with our test 2 and test 1. But we still need to share some of the method of overhead and the joint and byproduct costing, which is we need to finish by this week and the next weekend. Okay. The weekend we were doing this exercise. Can you see the exercise? Are you able to see the class activity, which is we did over the weekend before test? Someone can confirm me if you can see the question. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can see the question.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss as a simultaneous equation method, and I'm showing first the primary and secondary allocation. I believe that everybody have this question. Do you have the copy of question? Okay, until you can go through the primary and secondary allocation, see this part, and then I will start with the simultaneous equation just in a minute until you can have a look. Just appreciate, and if you have the question, go through it. Then I'm going to show the simultaneous equation method. Okay, I believe that everybody has seen it, the primary and the secondary allocation regarding with the lighting and heating, rent and rates, insurance of machinery, depreciation of machinery, etc. And after having the specific allocation and the primary, we get the certain cost. The cost I'm highlighting, we get certain cost for all the department, including the service department. The production department as well as the service department. The production department like crushing department, processing, cutting, and also polishing and maintaining. But the accounting system says that only those department who are involved in production must be shows the total cost of production, because the cost of production must be include all the cost which is incurred as a direct and indirect on the various activity. So any cost which is incurred in the service department has to be apportioned to the productions department, because the service department are there to assist the production department, and they are the one who uh, um, make sure that the production department job is working properly. Okay, so that is the concern. For that, we have the various method like direct distribution here. Like here, the direct distribution work is done. We apportion 80,000 and 10,000, and then we are apportioning the, sorry, here, the reapportionment we do like that. So in this way, we apportion the service department cost and the productions department cost. Now, there is another third method which can be used for now. I told you last time what is the concept of the simultaneous equation method. The simultaneous equation method says that you have to first calculate what is exactly or the actual total overhead cost of service department 1 and the service department 2. And then after determining the total, after having the total, then we have to apportion the cost among the department. When we know that in 80,000, like in 80,000, what is 80,000 plus what is the portion from the maintenance, and for the maintenance 100,000 plus whatever the percentage, according to that percentage, 5% or 10%, what is the cost from polishing department to maintenance department. And for that, we need to find out what is the relation between the departments, in which relation they are um, rendering their services to each other. Uh, so for that, let us assume that to find out the total overhead cost of two service departments, because this method can be applied when we have two service departments. After distributing among them based on the percentage given in respect of service rendered and received using simultaneous equation method. So we assume that the total overhead cost are the overhead after distribution of the sharing among service department. So P denotes the total overhead cost of polishing department. You can use any alphabet, either X or either Y, or you can use P, Q, R, M, any word. So here we have taken P is denote or assume that it is the total overhead cost of polishing department, which is one service department, and M denotes the total overhead cost or represent the total overhead cost of maintenance department. So when P is equal to that, it means that P is the sum of what is the total over cost for polishing department after primary and secondary allocation. After primary and specific allocation, the polishing department has 80,000 and the maintenance department had 100,000, right? You can see there, this is the polishing department and this is the maintenance department. So after a specific allocation and the primary apportionment, we have the sum of service department. Right now, you need only concentrate the service department overhead cost. So the polishing, its total is 80,000 and the maintenance department total is 100,000. So when we are calculating the total overhead cost, including the proportion he gets from maintenance, then it will be written like this. P means P is equal to the total. So P is equal to the 80,000, the cost which is we already know, plus it has how much percentage of maintenance. So let's see in the question, what is the percentage given there? Polishing department is working 10%, right? 10% for the maintenance. Here you can see that polishing department is working, so it will get 10% cost from the maintenance department. 45%, 25, 20 and the 10%. So the 10% will go to polishing department. So 80,000 plus 10% of the cost of maintenance department will go to the polishing. So how do we write that thing? So we will write the P is equal to, because P is denoting the total. P is equal to 80,000 plus 10% of maintenance department. When we assume that M is indicating the total overhead cost of maintenance department. So 10% of M. You will say 10% of M. So that's how we draft the equation 1. And then same thing, we will also calculate for M, because M is denotes the total overhead cost of maintenance department. It means that M is equals to the overhead cost after primary allocation plus we will get 5% cost from polishing department. So the total of polishing department can be indicating by P. It could be X, Y, Z or any, right? So that's how you form the equation 2. Do you understand? That's how we form the equation, because when you are saying put total overhead cost of polishing, so polishing is 80,000 plus it is getting 10% of maintenance, and the maintenance department will get 100,000 plus 5% of polishing department. Do you understand this, how we form the equation? Guys, can you understand how we form the equation?
Oh, ma'am.
Someone can answer me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, we use those, we use that information to now we use that information to solve the equation and then determine the value of P and M. So here, like you have two equation. I'm just doing it here. So P means polishing equals to 80,000 plus 10%. If you are writing the 10% in simple form, the 10% means 10 over 100. So when you say 10 over 100 equals to, it will give 0.1 M. So that is your equation 1. And the equation 2, you will create like this. M is equals to 100,000 plus 5%. So how do you simplify 5%? 5 over 100 equals, so it will give 0.05%. No, 0.05 P. So that will be your equation 2. Now we can solve this equation. Now how to solve the equation? If you want to calculate the value of P or M, either you can use equation 1 or 2. Just put the value, like in equation 1, we will put the value of M because M is equal to 100,000 plus 0.05 P. So we are taking, now we are putting the information to solve the equation. We will put value of M in equation 1. Equation 1. So the equation 1 will be read as, just pay attention what I'm writing, then it will be read as P is equals to 80,000 plus 0.1, then in a bracket you will write the value of M, 100,000 plus 0.05 P. Then you close the bracket. Then in the next step, is P equals to 80,000 plus, when you have a figure and then another figure in the bracket, so you need to multiply. Then here you are going to multiply 0.01 times 100,000. So when you multiply 0.01 times 100,000, it will give you 10,000. So the first value is 10,000. Then you also need to multiply this figure with 100,000 and 0.01 with 0.05, right? Then plus 0.1 times 0.05, which is give you 0.005 P. Now we have two figures. So in the next line, P equals to 80,000 plus 10,000, which is make 90,000, then plus 0.005 P. Now we will take in the next line. Is P, then the same, this is also a P figure, so we'll take the opposite side of the equal sign. When it goes to the opposite side of equal sign, the plus is become minus 0.005 P equals to 90,000. Then you subtract, when you say P, it means 1 P. So 1 minus 0.005, then it will be called 1 minus 0.005. What is the 1 minus 0.005? How much you will get? How much do you get?
0.995.
Yes. So it's 0.995 P equals to 90,000. Then to determine the value of P, you divide 90,000 by 0.995. So in the next line, P equals to 90,000 divided by 0.0995. So how much you will get? $90,000 divided by 90,452.26. So we will round up the figure. 90,452 hula. So the total cost of polishing department will be, after adding the 10% from the maintenance, it will become 90,452. Okay, because you see in polishing department, the cost by primary allocation is 80 plus 10% of M. So when you add 10% of M, after adding 10%, it will become 90,452. So once you get the value of P, then this value of P you can put in equation 2 to determine the value of M. Because the second equation is M equals to 100,000 plus 0.05 P. Now we know the value of P. So you just put the value of P here in this equation 2 and get the value of M, right? So like here, you can see we put the value of P in the equation 2, 100,000, then 0.05 times 90,492. So the value of M will be 109 and 522. Please everybody calculate and check if you are getting the same answer. Just check if you're also getting the same answer.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So after getting the both figure, the cost of polishing department, which is 90,452, and the total overhead cost of maintenance department, because previously it was 100,000, but after adding the 5% of polishing department, the total is become 108,522. Now, once you get the total, then we are going to use the percentage of the departments uh, to apportion the cost among the three departments. So first of all, you can start by any polishing department or maintenance. Let's start by maintenance department. So what is the percentage of crushing department? How much percentage of service they rendered maintenance department for crushing department? Can you see it here? Have you seen the percentage? Maintenance department working 40% for crushing, 25% for processing, and 30% for cutting department. Crushing, processing, and cutting. So we apportion accordingly. We start by first maintenance department, because maintenance department cost is the higher compared to polishing department. Okay. So can you calculate 40% of this total overhead cost of the maintenance department? The total is 108,522, 40%. So the maintenance department, 40% is working for crushing department.
Ma'am, is it not 43,409?
Yes. Can you see the solution? The solution I'm showing you guys. Is it showing on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. So you see, out of 108,522, the 43,409 and 4 tabe will go to the crushing department. Then maintenance department work 25% for the processing. So you have to calculate 25% of this total cost of maintenance. How much are you going to get it? 25%. Can you calculate, everyone? Are you getting 27,130 when you calculate 25% of it?
Yes.
Okay, and then 30% will go to the cutting department. You no need to worry about the 5% for maintenance because that cost is already included here, right? So you no need to apportion 5% to another department. And then when you are apportioning the service department polishing cost, the total cost we calculated through the equation, which is 90,452 and 26 thebe. It's also going to apportion with the polishing department percentages. 45% will go to the crushing department, 25% goes to the processing department, and 20% goes to the cutting department, okay? So that's how we get the figure. So this 90,452 and 26. So 45%, when you calculate 45% of it, you will get 36,180, 90,452 and 26 times 45%. So, sorry, is it 45 for crushing department? What figures are we getting? Is it 40,703 for crushing department? Please check the answer. Let me double confirm the percentage. 45, 25, and 20. Okay. I think here is going to be 40,703, then 25% of it. Is a mistake. Times 45. Yeah, I think it's then for the processing department. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think that answer which is written there was not correct. And this one will be %. Is 180 18090.45. Okay, so that's how we apportion. Then we calculate the total. Total, you add the amount from primary. All these three amount will be added. So
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
yes, please.
When you're calculating for polishing,
Mm.
you're multiplying the percentages with which one?
And this one, the amount, the polishing total overhead cost of polishing department, which is we just calculated by the equation, the value of P.
You
P is
mean 108? The
100.
that sum that we got when we were calculating from the equation.
No, the polishing department.
Ma'am.
This one, this 90,000. This is the total overhead cost of polishing department.
Oh, so you're using 90,000. Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, polishing department had the total is 90,452 after 80,000 adding the portion from maintenance. And the maintenance department total cost is become 108,522. So when you
okay.
get this value from the equation, you apportion this value in the table. So we
Okay.
are apportioning 108 and 90,452 as per their given percentages, right?
Yes, I understand now.
Okay. So the total of crushing department is 347,000 plus 43,409.04 plus 40,703.40. So the total is for this department is 431,112.44. Or if we leave the decimal, it will give this one. Then the total of processing department is 288,000 plus 27,130 plus 22,613.6, which is give us 337,000 and 743, or you can make 44, round up the figure. I'm just rounding up the figure. And the third one, cutting department, is 220,000 plus 32,556.78 plus 18,000 0.45. So the total is 270,647. Okay. Right. Then we add them. What is happening? Let me just check. 45, 50, 90. Let me check if it is going beyond that. That's 337. Okay. Because total should be 1,035,000, but I'm getting the total.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
I think the value of M is incorrect. Or am I doing it wrong? I got 104,522.61.
100. The value of
104.
M. Okay, let me check. Because it's giving me a bit more, the total answer. Let me also check. Mm, 100,000 points times 452 plus. Yeah, it's 104. That's why. Because answer, I was just thinking why the answer is going more than that. Yeah, this figure is incorrect. It means again this figure you have to reapportion among the given percentage 40, 25, 30 according to the for crushing department processing and processing and cutting department. Then we find out their total, and then machine hour and the labor hour. As I said, when we are looking for the appropriate rate, you have to compare between the machine hour and the labor hour, which one is more appropriate, and then we divide it. So like in this crushing department, the machine hours is more than the labor hour. So the whole total overhead cost will be divided by the machine hour. In processing department, it's also machine hour. But in cutting department, the labor hours are more than the machine hours. So it will be divided by direct labor hours, and then you will get the rate. I'll make these corrections, then I upload this question on the Teams. Okay. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll correct. I think those figures has some issues. So you understand how we do the what is called simultaneous equation method, how we solve the simultaneous equation method.
Yes, ma'am.
How to form the equation, I will teach tomorrow again with the class activity question, and then we will stop the job costing. So please everybody attend the lesson tomorrow as well at 12, the physical in block 252. Before we end the class, would you like to ask any